Hey, Federal fam, big news out of Rhode Island. If you had on your bingo card that while we were all waiting for the nationwide RIF injunction news from the Supreme Court, a separate injunction would double freeze RIFs at certain parts of HHS, you can mark that spot off. This is something I think every federal employee should hear, so please share this widely and double tap to support. Any questions about what's going on or thoughts, let me know in the comments. You already know. So here's what's going on. Yesterday, Judge Melissa DuBose granted a preliminary injunction stopping HHS from pushing through those March RIFs and a mega-reorg that would have wiped out more than 10,000 positions across CDC, FDA Center for Tobacco Products, Head Start regional staff, and the policy shop at ASPE. The order says that HHS is enjoined from taking any actions to finalize the layoffs, issue new pink slips, or park anyone else on admin leave, and it applies until the court says otherwise. HHS also has to file a compliance report by July 11th. So why did the judge slam the brakes in this case? Well, she found that the states are likely to win on two core arguments. The cuts were arbitrary and capricious and flat out, quote, contrary to the law, end quote, because Congress, not the executive branch, decides how these sub-agencies are structured and funded. Translation, you can't cut programs Congress created just because it's politically convenient. So who's covered? Well, everyone in these four pockets of HHS, and that is nationwide. So if you're a CDC scientist, a tobacco compliance analyst, a Head Start regional specialist, or an ASPE economist, your job is on hold, not gone. Other parts of HHS and other agencies aren't included here, but this is a big slice of the 28 to 15 division downsizing plan. So how does this mesh with the bigger nationwide RIF fight? Well, remember the Northern District of California case that froze RIFs at 22 agencies. That injunction is still intact, applies to all of HHS and other agencies after the Ninth Circuit upheld it, and it's now at the Supreme Court on emergency appeal. Now, about Trump versus CASA, the Supreme Court's June 27th ruling, that the district judges usually can't issue universal or nationwide injunctions that protect folks who aren't plaintiffs, but there's a carve-out for the APA. Judge DuBose anticipated that. Her order specifically asked the parties to brief by July 11th whether CASA changes anything. Because the plaintiffs here are 19 states plus DC, the injunction already runs wherever those state programs operate. And again, APA is at issue here. So for most of you, coverage should hold even after CASA, I would predict, but expect the DOJ to argue for narrowing. The too long didn't read for federal employees. In summary, if you've got a March HHS RIF, notice one of those four components, breathe, your separation is double frozen, no new RIF letters can go out in those components while the injunction stands. HHS must update the court on next steps by July 11th, watch for a possible First Circuit appeal. Next, CASA doesn't kill this relief, but it may limit future nationwide orders in other cases, so keep an eye out on the Supreme Court's next move in the multi-agency RIF lawsuit. Also, in any event, stay tuned. We'll keep translating the legalese so you know exactly where you stand. And in terms of when the Supreme Court's going to rule, we don't know. We already thought it would have occurred by now. It could happen any day. They're already a few days off their average. So we'll let you know as soon as we hear. Thank you, everybody, for your support, and I hope you have a great day.